What is happening, everybody? I hope you've had a good...
Back in like 2005, something like that.
I think my first con was so good. It's Friday Junior.
It's Friday Junior, it's podcast day, it's payday.
And if you come out doing a like, doesn't matter how you feel about the situation.
My name is Raff, and always before we start the podcast, because we just want to talk about it. We want to talk about music, and just share those stories and experience. This is my co-host, Carl, a.k.a. the BeerBuddy. He is hailing you.
This sort of weird era where they're sort of right in that post-grunge.
Look, you're fighting the good fight in today's world. My war was fought 40 years ago, really.
We are the two dudes who talk music, and we are here. Hey, I'm too quick on that air horn button, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, that is amazing. I love it. You're second on the dude. Fantastic.
How you doing, you legends? I am the Reverend Raff. This here is my co-host, Kyle, a.k.a. the BeerBuddy. We are the two dudes who talk music, and we are here today with another podcast episode for you. But before we dive into that, if you enjoy your time with us today, it would mean the world if you would consider hitting that subscribe button down there. Just tickles all the YouTube buttons that make us real happy. We are a small channel. We're trying to grow our audience, try to go off naturally if we can, and we don't want to dive into like sensationalist stuff and clickbait headlines and all the trickery and that. So if you enjoy your time with us, please consider hitting it out. And we do also have a Patreon. Right now, it's essentially just a tip jar more than anything else. But it's just a couple of bucks a month, but we are working on ways to expand that, increase the value of that as time goes on. And for as long as possible, we are planning to keep the price as low as possible because, we just want to give you guys as much value as you can for your support of us. But that said, we realize everything's tight. And you know what? If you don't want to kick in a couple of bucks a month, that's totally fine. We appreciate your time watching us anyway. We have podcast videos every Thursday with some ancillary content in the form of the Quick Question Quarter and Get in the Bin on weekends. And we also have reaction videos every Monday and Friday, sometimes on Wednesdays if there's lots of cool stuff coming out. Tuesday is kind of a free day. A lot of the time there may not be a video. Other times there'll be just random stuff going up then. Who knows? It's a lottery. But with that out of the way, my friend, how you doing?
Dude, every day I've been losing sleep over what's coming up. Every night's a thinking night. It's just so much to listen to, so much to think about, so much excitement. We really we're gonna bring it. We're gonna bring it, boy.
We do. Sorry, I've got a thing over here in a minute.
Oh. Yeah, well, they'll get to see that if they come to Metal to the Max, won't they?
Well, yeah. So today I went on an epic journey, on a grand quest across the land of the Queen. I traveled down the highway of Bruce the Mighty, through the kingdom of Brisbane, to the lands, to the coast, if you will, of gold, to collect our heraldry for the apocalypse. I went to the Gold Coast to pick up the banners for Metal to the Max.
Yeah, you did.
That's what I did. Let's see how much we can get. These things are fucking enormous, by the way, so you're not going to be able to see it properly on camera. I might post a video somewhere if you're well behaved, but I'll see what I can show you. Hang on.
Hey, all our fans are the best behaved. Whoa. Oh, geez, my hairline looks shocking in that. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
boy.
Oh.
So, that's the, not only that, you've got another one.
Oh. So we have banners to represent that.
We got two banners for two dudes. We'll probably have one up behind us in the tent at Metal to the Max, and one maybe on the outside as a thing so everyone knows where we are. I want to get this right because they were absolutely amazing with helping us out. Where have I put it? I haven't got the business cards on me. Give me a moment. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a moment. So we need to give a massive shout out to the absolute legends at RW Promotions. Special love to Neville. If you know Neville, he's got an amazing band, an amazing podcast. Go and check out Snake Mountain. and the Ever Black podcast. Nev's an amazing dude and he deserves all the support in the world. And I also want to give a shout out to Rich as well from RW Promotions. It was quite amusing when I showed up. He was like, "You look familiar. Have I seen you before?" And I'm like, "Mate, you've just been printing 2 giant banners with my fucking face on them. I would hope I'd be familiar." But yeah, the crew at RW Promotions did an amazing job on these.
Absolutely legends. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Go and check them out. If you need banners, if you need any sort of printing, promo materials, any of that sort of stuff, they got you covered. So RW Promotions, thank you so much. And if you're sitting here going, "Mate, why the fuck do you need a giant banner and why are you talking like a dickhead and what's all this heavy metal to the max or this metal to the max business?" Excuse the old, the old sniff.
Oh, no, I thought that was a fact.
So, Metal to the Max Festival is a multi-day heavy metal festival taking place out in the back end of New South Wales at Silverton, which is kind of near Broken Hill, which is, if you don't know, not kind of near the South Australia New South Wales border, right? Broken Hill's actually on Adelaide time. That's how close it is to the border, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's a long fucking way from anywhere, okay? And out there, in case you didn't know, now you're going to know, is the Mad Max 2 compound. There's like a little Mad Max museum out there and everything. But yes, the Mad Max 2 compound, as in the compound from the film Mad Max 2.
Mm-hmm.
The absolute mad lads at Lead Heavy Promotions have thought about what if we took 30 fucking bands and a whole bunch of crazy ass metalheads all the way out to the middle of nowhere to the Mad Max 2 compound and had a heavy metal festival.
Well, you just gave me the recipe for a great weekend.
Sounds like a great time to me. We will be trekking out there for that one. It is taking place on the 5th and 6th of October. If you go down to the link in the comments, you can grab your tickets right now. Get them while they're hot. They are moving pretty fast.
They are. They're hustling.
The multi-day tickets include an unpowered campsite for 3 nights. So if you're camping, you can arrive on the Friday afternoon. You can set up, get your site ready. Then the bands start, I think it's about going to be sort of midday, early afternoon on the Saturday. You'll have 15 bands. And then there'll be food truck and everything out there for everybody. It's BYO, so be responsible, but have a good time. I believe, is it all ages?
It is all ages, but anyone under the age of 15 needs to be accompanied by a proper adult, not like your cousin or no shit like that. It needs to be like a legitimate guardian.
Yes, an adult parent or guardian, please. If you've got any minors, any kids that want to come out there, make sure you got a parent or guardian with you, please.
And be that parent that takes your little kids out there, all right? Be that parent.
Look, it's going to be the experience of a lifetime. It's going to be amazing. Everyone is planning to have this incredible time out there. The bands that we have been speaking to are so hyped for it. There is a playlist on Spotify featuring a ton of the bands. Again, link will be in the comments. So you can go and check all that out and decide if you want to go. As we said, we are going to be making the trip out there. It's going to be a hell of a time. I got to fly and then we got a massive fuck off drive. So
and then the setup.
We're going to do the setup. We're going to be interviewing bands, interviewing the punters, getting a whole bunch of footage of the event, everything. It's going to be a grand old time for everybody involved.
Sure, it is.
Get your tickets now before they're gone, because honestly, all the bands are excited. So they're going to be putting on an incredible show, and there are already bands that put on incredible shows. So when they got something like this on their plate, they're going to go extra hard. All the people that have already got tickets, you lucky ducks, are going to be in for a hell of a time. Let's come together with this really special event, and then maybe, if it goes really well, there'll be another one next year, and the year after that, and the year after that, and it can keep going and growing. Because you know what? I think that'd be pretty fucking awesome.
I reckon it would be. I can't wait till international start paying attention to it.
Oh, mate, I think that'd be wild if we could get people start traveling international for that. I think it'd be a hell of a time. Now, I did forget to mention earlier, if you enjoy the podcast and our videos and you maybe want to get the podcast in just audio format, you absolutely can. It's out on all the usual places. So make sure you pick that up. But as we've been talking for a solid few minutes there, I apologize for all of that extra crazy lead in there. There is a lot to cover before we get into them. But, mate, who have we got for the interview today? Tell them. Tell the people.
Dude, we have this band that are like Deftonesy, Sunk Loto, old school, late 99, early 2000s new metal with a fucking snare sound that will drop the draw straight, like just snap your draw straight off you. Today we have Suffer the Evenue, we have Jay and Nick. Let's get across to them and let's have a mad chat with these guys.
All right. A big welcome to Nick and Jay from Suffer the Avenue. Appreciate you guys taking the time to join us this afternoon. We're having a bit of a listen to your stuff through the week, and we dig it. We're loving the Deftones vibe. We're big fans of that sort of late 90s, early 2000s period. As you can probably tell from the old grey coming in there, we're just we grew up in that era, so it's.
Tell you what, that snare snaps any harder, my panties are going to fly off at fucking Metal to the Max. If your snare snaps like that, Jesus, that snap, that like as soon as I heard that snap on that snare, I was just like, my heart just went flooded.
Well, it's touch and go, tighten that sucker up too. I'm like, I should go anymore. You can always go more. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Or skin stretch.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
it. You know, if you put a stick through it, it's just an excuse to replace the skin. You know what I mean? You just get a new one. That's easy. That's easy done.
Yeah.
So for those who may not have heard you guys before, what's the elevator pitch?
Yeah, well, I suppose touching on that late 90s, early 2000s era, I think we think there's a hole missing in the music these days. Like there's a gap there, which can easily be filled with these old styles of music. Like I don't know, it's gone downhill dramatically in our opinion, and there's no emotion or feeling anymore. And I think in some stuff there is, but a lot of the stuff there isn't. And I reckon that's where that whole era of music had that feeling, and
not necessarily like the shit music everywhere. It's just it's all a saturation on the general
100%. You really got to look hard.
Yeah.
But in saying that does make you more picky because there's so much saturation out there.
Yeah.
Which can either be a good or a bad thing, but
yeah, exactly. Just wanted to bring the feel back into it, I guess, and the mood, and I don't know, it's just fun to play as well. It's like probably the funnest thing you can do, in our opinion. So
it's got so much bounce,
and that's what it's about.
It gets fun, get the crowd moving, and
well, just quietly, our newer stuff that we're working on now has got a bit more bounce again. So
hell yeah,
saying too much.
We're going to be hearing some of that at Metal to the Max.
One of them, maybe two. Yeah.
Right.
But if there's an elevator pitch, it's not that's what we're all about. That's just that's the basis of what we're about. But we're quite happy to switch roads. We'll take this road now. We'll take this road now. There's no set formula, so that's sort of the basis of where we're coming from. But we'll venture down any road that's available to us. So
anyone that'll take us. Like if Madonna wants us to do some of their shit, we'll do it.
Yeah.
That's
a good way to think. But that's what new metal was. Like, I mean, and always is, you know what I mean? It's that exploration. It's not having that. It's this album's going to be completely different to this album. You know, certain bands were very formulaic in the way they eventually did things and they became consistent. But for the most part, I mean, you only have to look at a band like Korn. Yes, Korn sound like Korn, but look at the depth of what they did when they lost a member and then they did this stuff with Skrillex, and there is no formula to Korn. It's just the members of the formula.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I think you've got to be brave too. Like, don't pigeonhole yourself to something that's comfortable. Just go for it. Do whatever. And probably the elevator pitch again for us is if we enjoy it, then we hope other people will latch onto it as well.
That's it. We play what we want to play.
Yeah. So,
and that's it. You got to do that first. First and foremost, you need to be doing what you're enjoying, so that and you know, if other people enjoy it too, that's awesome. That's the best part. But you know, sticking to what you're trying to do is just so important, because it sounds a bit pretentious to say it, but there still needs to be an artistic vision and an artistic integrity in what you're doing. Like, as much as we love, people don't think of it when they think of metal, but like, you know, we got heavy riffs, we're doing all this stuff, but there still is an artistic vision and idea there that you're trying to weed out and express through what you're doing. And I love that, this is what Kyle and I have talked about in the past. Like, there's just this thing about Aussie bands that have this artistic integrity of doing what they want to do. They're not chasing a lot of trends. They're not doing like, oh, this is trendy, so we're going to do this to try and get popular or get signed or whatever. They're just like, no, we're going to do our thing because it's already such a slim chance that we're going to make it. So if we're going to make it, quote unquote, we're going to do it on our own terms. And
exactly.
I think that's why Aussie bands have such there's such a unique sound to a lot of what Aussie bands do. And we, very often, like when people from overseas encounter our stuff, they're blown away by the quality of what they're experiencing. Like so many bands that from the Aussie scene that, they might be doing regularly playing to sort of 100 or 200 people. If you were to transplant them wholesale, everything they're doing into like the US, where it's a much bigger market, they'd be doing, regularly playing 1,000 or 2,000 person venues, on tour, doing the loops, like it's just, that's the quality of what we've got out here. It's just the market is pretty munted, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, and you think about it too, if you dropped us over there, like we don't need a shtick. As soon as you go up there going, hey, go on, you Yankee fucking cunts, they're just going to go, Aussie, yeah! I want to go see that Aussie band.
It's the accent. It's always the accent.
Yeah.
Gets people. It gets people for sure. So what's obviously you guys are here because we are doing a whole series of special interviews with the bands that are playing on this Metal to the Max festival that's coming up in early October. We'll have a ticket link down in the thing for anyone interested. Make sure you go and get them while they're hot because they are moving. And when did you guys first hear about this idea of, the festival being out at such a remote location, such a unique site? And like, what were your initial thoughts when it was presented to you?
I saw like Lead Heavy Promotions putting the whole show on. I saw they had a post up on Facebook, which was like initial, like the artwork and stuff was put on Facebook, like save the date thing. So, and I saw they had like 30 bands were going to be playing it. I was like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. So I just clicked on it to find out more info. And then, because it's pretty early on, I hit up Ash from Lead Heavy and said, man, what's the chances of getting on this bill? It fucking looks like it's going to be pretty sweet. And his response straight away was like, motherfucker, you cunts already playing it. I was like,
Oh, rap.
Yeah, I think we're day one, band 6, so we're happy as hell with that. That's going to be awesome. So,
oh yeah, you have plenty of time to enjoy the rest of the day and then the following day, and just get the work done early.
I have a funny, these top people are my people, and they're probably getting on the cans a bit early too before the set. Nah. Hey, you got the perfect spot of the day. Everyone's going to be, the drinks will be flowing, everyone will be having a good time and be ready to just get their ass into a groove, man. And I cannot imagine a better band to sort of, because I know my ass will be shaking during your set.
Yeah, we could. Well, that when last week when you guys interviewed Pit Vipers, I was listening to that pod the other day, and their set, like they're all covers and stuff, but the set they'll be doing to open up the show is going to be just like kick it off its fucking tits straight up, I reckon, man. So that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's a great idea to set up the weekend, eh? It's such a good idea.
Well, you think about it, whenever you go to a gig and people will be like grooving and having a good time, but then a band busts out a cover song and everyone like loses their minds, right? Everyone kind of loosens up after that. So starting the weekend off with a cover band like that is a really, really clever idea because everyone's going to be like, they're going to be waking up. They're going to be like getting in a good mood. They're going to be hearing some tunes that they know that they can really kind of get loose to. And then that's just going to start things off on a good vibe, I think, which is going to be so important. Are you guys there? You have frozen.
Are you frozen?
Oh, no, we've frozen. No, you've frozen. No, we've frozen.
Nah,
all right. Seems like you're back there. Seems like you're back.
it's a great setup. Like the day's pretty much going to start off like a backyard party. Like, with a live backyard party, everyone's just going to be chilling out, talking shit, maybe having a mosh.
Yeah.
Well, how many people do you know are dressing up for it so far? Have you had many people tell you?
We haven't, but I think it's going to be. I mean, I'm half tempted.
I'm doing a little something. I've got a little something special.
Oh yeah, you got a little wasteland cosplay going on. And we're back. So yes, you were talking about an outfit or a cosplay of some kind that you've got lined up.
Yeah, I suppose you could call it cosplay. I'm not really making anything. I'm just buying bits and pieces and might put some paint on, or I'll just do whatever. Really, I'll just
Nice.
Yeah, it is a leotard. Thanks for spoiling it, but yeah, that's what it is.
Nice.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be great. Like, I think if there's a few people that do that, it'll be really, really fun. Like, I've even, we want to try and tee up a conversation with the crew from Lead Heavy and see if there's like, because we got some like, ever since he was like, yeah, man, you guys can come out and cover it. We'll sort you guys for a space to set up and everything. I've just had so many fucking ideas going through my head of shit to suggest or like things that we can try and do. And I've had to be like, all right, like tone it back, motherfucker. Like just ease back because you're going to have a million ideas and you're not going to be able to do all of them this time.
Yeah.
This time.
Yeah.
But it's we're excited. We're really excited for this because the whole concept just immediately piqued our interest. The idea. I'm a big fan of theatrics and themed events in music and in metal, especially. I think there's not enough of them. I love it when a band goes all in on a concept or an idea. Like there's a band up this way with where I'm at in Brisbane called Dark Law, and they do all this kind of like epic fantasy metal stuff, but they mix in like, stuff from fantasy movie or fantasy video game soundtracks into their music. And they might do like 2 shows a year, but every show is a full-on production with like props and costumes and all of this crazy stuff. And it's so entertaining because it's just unlike whatever else you might see. Even in my own band, Nuclear Vision, like we wear masks, we have outfits, we have stage names and personas and characters that we've kind of work within for the band because it's just fun. It's an extra layer of intrigue you can add to stuff. And it's an event like this at a place like this is just such a killer opportunity.
Yeah, you got a capital.
Yeah.
I don't think, where's the interest in being just another generic motherfucker, Like, just standing up there, dead face, just fucking put some flavour into it and make it your own,
That's 100% it. I mean, love nothing more than seeing a band move on stage and having fun.
Yeah.
Because life's already serious enough, man. I come here to have a fucking good time, not watching it. Yeah.
Definitely. So when did Suffer the Evenue like come together? When did you guys form?
I have to say it's going to be 10 years this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Had a bit of a slow start. Sort of around the time we all had real young kids, so things were moving pretty slow, but just a lot of background stuff, like hanging out, writing tunes. So it took quite a while to sort of gain some momentum, but it's only been the last few years. Well, Nick's the newest member on board. He's joined us maybe just over 2 years ago. And since then, man, I think it's just taken us to a whole new level. It's all sort of come together a bit more. I don't know, no discredit to our previous singer, who's one of our great mates, but Nick joining the fold has just taken us to the next level automatically. We're writing better stuff. We're playing better shows. So I don't know. But yeah, I'd say it's been probably 10 years this year, if not 10 off. So
that's awesome. Good on you for smashing through it, and congratulations on making the new heights with the new singer too. That's awesome work. Good on you.
Thanks.
And you guys have got a couple of EPs out online for those who are interested. You got Super Dead Volume 1 Super Dead and Volume 2 Super Deader.
Yep.
Yeah. Which great naming convention, by the way.
Yeah. Please call Volume 3 The Deadest.
you're not you're not far off.
I'll say.
Is it a play on Super Ted? Is that the?
Yeah, so we 1 year for Halloween, I bought a Super Ted costume to wear for the kids, to be just a dickhead. But the Halloween that year, we took the head off this costume and sort of blacked out its eyes, made it look like it was dead, and then it sort of morphed from Super Ted to Super Dead.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, one time at a show, we just took it to our show and threw it into the crowd during one of our songs. We're like, here, one of you cunts wear this, and fucking, I don't know, whoever puts it on seems to take on a life of its own and just...
They get possessed. They get possessed by Super Dead.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's that.
Oh, we get to see it. We get to see the head.
That is a fucking cool idea.
So, but you never give it to someone and they just stand still. They're always just jumping around. And,
Yeah, that's awesome.
A great way to. Oh, I love that.
That is fucking cool.
I love that.
Unintentionally, it sort of just became our band mascot. And yeah, you take it to shows, man, throw it in the crowd during one of our songs, and someone will put it on, and just the whole thing just turns nuts. So I don't know what it is, but it works.
Well, it's about giving people the freedom to have to be more. Like it's a freedom to enjoy themselves more, freedom to get loose more. Like there's a Melbourne band that you're probably possibly familiar with called The Last Martyr, and they've just wrapped up a tour, and I caught them at the Brizzy show, and they were throwing one of the songs, and they were like throwing out glow sticks to everyone. Now, I don't know a single person that can hold a glow stick in their hand while music's playing and not dance. It's a physical impossible. It's like it has to be studied because it's some like core property of the universe that it seems to be the case. Like no one can have a glow stick in their hand and while there's music playing and just stand still and not dance. So once you get that ball rolling, once you've allowed people that freedom to get loose and to dance and to just enjoy themselves a little bit more, it's so and then when they see everyone else is doing the same thing, it just unlocks the floodgates. And
and it brings the crowd into the show. So like everyone's having fun then. So
precisely.
Such a good idea. Such a good idea. Adds that extra layer. It's like, oh, you look like you're having a good time. Go have more fun. Yeah,
and when you say the word loose, we cover a song from Primer 55 called Loose, which is on our first EP, Super Dead. So usually during that song, this is when this will come out, and shit just gets fucking hectic, man. So, yeah.
Can I just compliment on how solid both of your beer choices are? I do. They don't call me the beer buddy for nothing, but I love that Pirate Life Hazy. Mate. Mate. I don't mind. I'm a bit partial to a bit. Sorry, I'm not really a fan of stouts, but I will do. Oh man, fantastic! You've got to come over to the tent and have a beer on at Metal to the Max. Got it.
Of course, yeah.
Oh yeah. There is going to be plenty of beer flowing at the Two Dudes tent. We're going to have our whole setup there. We're going to have. I just picked up some brand new banners today, so we're going to have a giant banner up behind us. You're not going to be able to miss us. It's got our faces all over it, so it's you'll be sick of seeing our faces by the end of it. Yes.
Oh, you guys are legends.
Yes. But look, we're
on-site interviews and stuff, or
sorry,
you're doing like on-site interviews, and
that's the plan. That's the plan. Yeah. The hope is if we can, and again, we still got to talk to Lead Heavy, but basically the idea that we want to try and do is basically cover it like, if you watch. Not so much if you watch, but like the way something, a lot of music press will cover an event like Good Things, where they'll have their setup, they'll have their space set up, and just bands will come in throughout the day for an interview, and then they'll go and they'll have like little 10, 15-minute interviews with all the different bands. And ideally what I'm thinking is if we get, a band plays their set, and then there's like, they got time to pack off stage and pack their shit up, and then they come over and talk to us. And then they can go about their stuff, and then that way it's like a
analysis and everything,
exactly. Like a parade of the bands they've played. We can be like, hey, how did you feel your set was? We can compliment them on how good they did. We can, talk about how their experience has been so far.
Please critique.
If something goes,
Not
like
even that, just how you trip up, boys, because we probably won't get to see you beforehand or while you're
Yeah.
setting up. We're not going to really get to see you probably till after your sets anyway.
So we're hoping we are hoping that we get to interview most, if not all, the bands over the course of the couple of days. In the run up through these episodes, we're going to try and interview as many as we can. We're not going to get to everybody because there's, I think, 10 weeks now, and there's still something like 25 bands that we haven't interviewed yet. So we're not going to fit them all in, I'm afraid. But it'll be great to just have a chat with everybody. And look, there's going to be plenty of people coming and going throughout the day as well. We're going to be pretty open with it, to be honest. Like if people want to hang out for longer and just shoot the shit and whatever, it's we're going to be pretty chill with that. Kyle and I are probably going to take some time, like roaming around the site, talking to bands, talking to punters, getting a whole bunch of different footage as well. So
I'll try to get shots of all the bands for our videos and stuff like that. I at least want to get one shot of every single band to do a little wrap up of our weekend as well. So
we're looking at maybe trying to organise to be able to get some drone footage of stuff as well. So it's hoping, pretty big, probably the biggest kind of production we've done to date. But if it all comes 100%. together, it's going to look really, really crisp. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully this is the first of many of these events, because I would love to see this become a regular thing. I would love to attend it regularly and routinely. It feels like the kind of thing that'd be really fun to
every year.
Go back, put it on the calendar every year, make sure I'm going back every year, and like I think there's a lot of merit. We've already said it a couple of times in discussions with the bands that people are not going to travel all the way out there to spoil anyone else's good time.
Exactly.
Everyone's going to want to have a great time. Everyone is going to want everyone else to have a great time. So I think Kyle said it best. It's really almost just going to be like a giant backyard party of just, and there's going to be new friendships made and, new like networking between bands from all across Australia. And if this event keeps doing well and growing and getting a reputation, I think you'll definitely see people traveling from overseas to attend something like this. It is, it's such a cool concept. For all the bands as well, you're going to have content for weeks, depending on depending on how you want to spend your time.
Exactly.
Is going to depend on how much content you can actually milk out of this teat. Okay, fair. Like it's a bit of an arsehole to get to and stuff like that, but think about it long term. As long as you always got your phone out after your set, before your set, whenever anyone's being a larrikin or anything like that, make sure you got it on film. As long as it's not too bad and it's not going to get anyone in trouble.
Yeah, what happens in the apocalypse stays in the apocalypse.
Yeah, there's got to be that.
But Kyle's right. Kyle's right. Like this is such a great opportunity for the bands that are trying to up the social media game as well. You can have you got travel to and from. You've got set up and pack down. You've got the campsite videos. You've got so many things that you're going to be able to capture and just get content out of it for weeks, if not months to come. It's just such
opportunity at every level.
Exactly.
Level.
This is it's a great
and for
opportunity
everyone
for
involved.
everyone on every
everyone involved. Like for us, we're involved now, so it's a great opportunity for us, depending on the way we structure it and the way we conduct ourselves. So it's a big thing for everyone.
Do you find too, like in the metal genre, 99.9% of people are chill and like just want to have a wicked time?
Yes,
like
definitely.
You don't follow that like futuristic festival, what the hell it's called, fucking disco biscuits and all that. Like,
hey, look, you can, let's not get it twisted. There's more than likely, like let's not shy away from the fact that metalheads do know how to have a good time with certain substances at the same time. We just tend to know how to control ourselves a little bit better and not punch anyone's heads in.
I think most of the time, if you encounter a metalhead that is being, a bit too much or a bit over enthusiastic about stuff, it's almost never from a place of malice. It's like they've just had a little bit too much and they're not quite realizing that it's imposing on other people as the way it is. Like I don't think there's nearly as much malice that you might see in certain fan bases of stuff. Like we tend to be pretty respectful. I'd like to hope that I'd like to hope that we see people that are camping leave the campsites in good shape. I'd like to see that we're not destroying the site or trashing anything. Because, and that's one, out of respect for the people that have offered up the site for us, because it's like an iconic fucking,
Venue.
it's an iconic location. It's a museum essentially. We're getting to do it at this very special location. So let's hope that it keeps going. Let's hope that we treat it well and that they're happy and everyone that's involved is happy and it can happen again.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the site's going to be left in better condition than we will Monday morning. So
Yes.
Yeah, that's the big one.
We want the site left pristine, because that's a great way to ensure that it happens again, and we as the metalhead community get invited back for a round 2 of this. I think having it in early October is probably the best time to have it.
Long weekend, isn't it? Well, for South Australia, it is.
Yeah, it's a long weekend for most places, which is really good. And it's going to mean that it's not like scorching summer, but we're not freezing our asses off at night. Yeah. So I think it's a nice kind of midpoint. That said, being where it is in the year, it could realistically go either way. You might have you could have a particularly cold winter's last gasp or an early onset summer, but we'll have to deal with that when it comes to it. But is there any, looking at the insane lineup of bands that's on this show, are there any bands that you are particularly excited to see? Any bands that you maybe haven't encountered before that are piquing your interest from what you've seen so far?
We've got our buddies.
Yeah, those Left Behind, we've played with them a few times. They're good mates of ours. So always keen for their set because they bring the party, man, every time. Like, they're just...
Okay. Ooh, nice.
And also I've got a song on Volume 2. It's a Soulfly cover called Pain.
Yeah.
And Timmy B from Those Left Behind, he steps up for guest vocals in that one. So he'll hopefully join us from
I was going to ask you who Timmy B was. Thank you for answering that.
Yeah. He's killing me. So definitely Those Left Behind. We haven't played with a whole heap of them, eh? So I'm pretty keen to see what they're all about.
Well, my first show with this band, we actually played with Firestorm. I fucking love that shit.
Yeah.
I love that.
They're very good.
What's his name? Billy Arrow? Oh, but he's just walking through the crowd, just fucking shredding shit. He's got that 80s fucking vocals. So I'm keen on seeing them again. Hidden Intent, sorry. We played a show there, the last show we played.
Because there's quite a few Adelaide bands on this, isn't there?
Yeah. Hell Machine, they're wicked.
Yep. But yeah, I'll be just experiencing more. I get to see fucking 20-odd other bands. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
So you guys are right around Antonomasia, are you? You guys will be, I think, right near Antonomasia in the day.
Something like that.
Where are they?
I don't think there's set times just yet, but...
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, there's all the bands after us, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So there's so many bands. Like, I mean, looking at the lineup from our experience coming from like the East Coast, there's bands that we look at that lineup that we know are going to absolutely like tear the place up. Like, I mean, straight away, Witchgrinder headlining on that first night. They're gonna go hard. Like, their live shows are one of the, like, they are all about their live show. We just dropped the interview with those guys the other week, and they are like, Travis is an amazing, awesome dude, and he knows the value of live production and a live show better than most. Like, in the past, they've done shows where they've brought their own pyro. You know what I mean? So something like this is a perfect opportunity.
Pyrotechnics.
Pyrotechnics.
We might borrow one.
But like they're crazy good. Antonomasia that we've mentioned. Yep, they're a really, really impressive show. Flaming Wreckage are gonna tear that place a new asshole. Like, they are such a good band.
Yeah, we played with them a couple of years ago in Wyala, I reckon it was. They're wicked. They're like Sundowner. There's a few bands here that we've sort of watched from afar but never had the chance to see live. So they're one of them.
And what a better way to experience it for a low price and 2-day camping ticket. Get on the website, go check it out because you.
Yep. It works out to less. If you buy the ticket with the camping, it works out to less than $5 a band. Yeah. Across the whole weekend. Like, you're not going to get better value than that for an event of this nature. And the fact that it comes out so cheap per band, that means you can put money into your travel. It's BYO booze, so just bring as much as you want. Just don't be an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go too far. Don't go past your limits, please.
That's my job.
Because we here at Two Dudes Talk Music encourage responsible consumption of alcohol
when you can.
No, well, look, we do, because we don't want anyone to have a bad time. We don't want anyone to have a bad time. Like, that's very, very fair.
And if someone is having a bad time, help them. Don't watch them. Don't film them. Help them.
Help them. Yeah. Someone falls down, you help each other up. That's what we're about.
Yeah.
That's what we're about, because, like I said, we want to make sure that this shit happens again. So, now you guys have, in addition to this one, obviously this is kind of the big reason that you guys are on the podcast today, but you have another show in October that's coming up as well. Is there much you can tell us about that one?
Yeah, it's all the details have been released. It's at the Gulf in Adelaide. We got hit up by, pretty sure they're from Melbourne, Engraved.
Yeah, we know Engraved. Yeah,
we know Engraved. Yeah,
Sydney band, I think.
Sydney.
No, Queensland now, aren't they?
Well,
aren't most of them?
Most of them are in Queensland now. I don't know. They're
it's
East Coast.
Yeah, they're doing a bit of a tour, stopping through Adelaide, October 26th.
26th, yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Engraved to be us. The Loving Tongue, I think they're Adelaide.
What a band name.
I love that.
So cool.
Yeah.
It's going to be our first headlining show in a while, so we're pretty pumped for it.
Awesome.
So.
I think you'll like the guys in Engraved. They put on a good show, and they're good dudes in general. They're really nice dudes. We've had them on before, so that's awesome. I'm kind of surprised. Like, I think they'd do really well on this event too. Actually, if they were on the line up there, that's a band. I think
dude,
maybe
there
next
are so
year.
many. Yeah, I mean, I think after this year, it's just going to be the fight. I think you're going to see a lot of bands that are just going, I want on.
I need to get on this like straight away. I mean, look,
because there are bands already talk. Like, there's a couple of bands that have already spoken to me, and they're like, I'm like, no, like, try, like.
Yeah, we're not organising nothing. Like, we don't have an in for you. But like I said, I'm going to try and I've talked to my band about it. Like, I want to try and push for us to get on there next year if it happens again. Because I think it's we literally, our whole thing is like nuclear wasteland, post-apocalyptic kind of vibes. It's the perfect fucking fit for something like us. So that'd be really, really cool. And so the other thing I was going to ask about as well. So obviously we mentioned you got a couple of EPs out there. We've kind of teased on like the third one that might be in the works there. Is there anything you can tell us about the third one that at the moment, or is it all just kind of it's happening and that's about all you can say?
Yeah, we tried. The idea behind all this was to not release a full-length album with, say, 10 to 12 songs. So we don't think most people have the attention span for it anymore. So
don't get us started. Don't get us started on that.
I just got the biggest shit-eating grin on my face.
Don't get us started. Sorry, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, we still listen to full-length albums, but a lot of the new generation that's coming through wouldn't. So our idea was to just release it in smaller doses, but better quality. So got all these songs. We're just releasing a small EP, 4 songs, which is volume 1. 6 months later, another one, volume 2.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're probably going to be a bit over 6 months later for volume 3, but we're writing that right now. And like Nick said before, this is more bouncier. It's a bit more hip-hop elements, a bit more new metal, like even more new metal.
That's got me excited.
Another genre that we won't talk about yet. Another genre that'll be coming into this one that hopefully takes people by surprise.
Yeah.
I reckon if they're... I got this weird vibe off you, so there might be a trumpet or something involved. You're not going to go ska, are you?
Nah, it's...
I'm not going to say no.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we won't say no.
They're just
Never say never.
They're just going to do the Mighty Mighty Boss tones and get someone on stage to just dance the whole time and do nothing else. Like,
Well, these are all wrong answers, but you're giving us ideas.
I
Hey,
literally saw a video of a live performance from the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones the other day, and there was literally just a dude skanking on stage the whole time, didn't have an instrument, wasn't doing any vocals, and I'm seeing in the comments, and I don't know how serious they were, but people are like, "What's with the guy just dancing?" And they're like, "No, that's the boss tone," and I'm like, "What?" I'm like, are you're serious, or are you like fucking with me right now? Is that like
You know the Cottonmouth Kings used to do that. They used to have the Cottonmouth Kings were like 5 or 6 members, and they had a 7th member whose literal job it was to smoke weed for the whole set and dance.
Yeah,
That's wicked.
yeah. Can I get that job in a band, please? What do you do in the band? I smoke the weed. So you're the drummer? No. I just smoked.
One of my Boss Tones, like that Boss Tones member has always been there, or that's a new thing they're doing?
Oh, this was an old video, so it's like it's something that I think has just kind of always been the deal. But
Never knew that.
it's just it took me by surprise, and I didn't know. I still don't know if people were joking or not about that like specific thing, but. Oh, wow.
Just to sort of go back on what you guys said before and saying that there's no formula. I mean, there obviously is a very distinct sound to the band. What would you say sort of like that it's sort of built around?
Sort of like little key elements, I guess. So number one, as you mentioned before, dude, the snare sound, which is I used to rock the bloody Joey Jordison snare. Had that for maybe 10 years, 11 years.
Yeah,
that was a good too, but because we wanted to bring the sort of the new metal flavors back into it, I moved from that to a piccolo, so something a lot brighter, more snappier. So that's a key element for sure.
I've always thought that more metal bands should embrace like that kind of snare sound.
Yeah,
like
man, love it.
It just cuts through on such a different level, and if and even for the not so, I don't want to say, I'm going to sound like a dick, for the not so trained musician, it gives them something to follow. That snap makes it a bit easier to follow.
Just cuts through so much.
It's recognizable. Like people hear that, they're like, "Oh yeah, I know this band," you know. So, but also probably the riffs, like Dom, our guitarist, his riffs.
Delicious.
When we're writing songs, like he'd write something, we're like, it's got to be more softer. And then he sort of switches it up and writes something that is him to a T. Like, that's exactly what we are. So let's go that way.
And sometimes he'll just riff away. Well, not sometimes. Often he'll riff away when we're doing other shit. And I'll just get out the phone and record it for 30 or 40 seconds and go, right, I'll just save that because that sounds sick. We'll bring it out another time. The last two tracks we've been working on, we've actually done that where we pulled out the archive. Remember that tune that you played?
Yeah.
Bring that in and build around that.
I think,
wow, such a good idea.
Are you guys, because I definitely, listening to your stuff, I definitely get a vibe of, so there's a Melbourne band that's on tour at the moment, and they were around like way back, and then they kind of were on hiatus for a bit while the singer went and did some other stuff, and they've come back sort of over the last 5 or 6 years, called Mammal. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but I get similar vibes to...
Well, I've listened to Mammal before. You played that in?
No, but fucking, so Ox, the singer, he stepped in with Super Heist for a brief period there with them. Yeah, so Super Heist, one of my all-time favourite bands. But we played a show last year, and we had a photographer come through from New South Wales, wherever he's from. So we sent him our stuff, and he was like, "Oh man, your singer sounds a lot like bloody Ox from Mammal." Oh, there you go. So
I love it. It's so good. The vibe is immaculate. It's just, I can't wait to see you guys live. There's just, every band that's on this thing that I've checked out is just crazy. Like I don't think people quite grasp just how insanely good this lineup is going to be.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
And for anyone out there, please don't let some of the writing or anything obscure your vision on how heavy it's going to be, because there is variety at this thing. Like this serves metalheads through and through.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
we're gonna have a link to the Spotify playlist as well. There's a Spotify playlist featuring a ton of the bands that you can go and listen to. So we'll have a link for that. So if you're curious and you want to get a taste of everybody before you buy your tickets, go and check that out because A, they deserve your plays. B, you're almost certainly going to find a few new bands that you're really going to be into. And, it's just going to give such a good vibe of what this lineup's going to be.
And then think about it. Then there's a chance they might be from where you're from or from your city.
Yeah. But yeah, you talk about Super Heist, man. Like, I can remember when Bullet came out back in the day and I was like, little teenage Raff, little high school Raff, still in his fucking, bedroom. I had the single for Bullet and I just played it it's just pretty much until the CD broke. Like I just played that thing over and over and over again. It was all So Super Heist is like a big one for me as well. Yeah, I was I remember getting a home bake CD and it had Two-Faced on there from Super Heist. That's where I first heard him. But I remember being at a party once when I was like 16. Whacked off my scone, fucking watching Rage, and Bullet come on, man. Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, what the fuck is this? Just insane. And as soon as the Prize Recruit come out, I bought that album and head to toe, man, every single song on that record's insane. I was obsessed for years and years. But just going back to Ezekiel Locks, like if you can understand his energy in a live situation, like this is where this motherfucker's bringing it from too. He's just all over the place.
That's good, man. I mean, he was, and look, Ezekiel was like, we had him on the podcast late last year. Was it late last year or earlier this year? I can't quite remember.
Early this year.
That's right. We had him on earlier this year, and he is. I mean,
his show's on tonight in Sydney.
Yeah, I think they're doing Sydney tonight. I've actually just scooped up tickets to their Brisbane show that's coming up too, which is going to be awesome. But he's a dangerously intelligent individual. Oh, yeah. Like I could tell talking to him, man. Like he's got book smarts, but he's also got a lot of street smarts, and like he understands things. Like that's a guy that, I mean, he's very, very political in his stuff. He takes very strong, socio-political stances, which is awesome. Like love to see people doing that kind of stuff, and he can back up his argument every single time.
And he umpires footy.
Sorry?
He umpires footy as well.
He does too.
Yeah.
But he's such a he was really great interview, and I cannot wait to see them live. Again, that's another band that I think could do insanely. Like I could see Mammal headlining this event in a future year for sure. Like that would be crazy, and they could like motivate. But I feel like if Mammal played it, some people would just never leave, and they'd start like this commune out in the fucking back of.
You'd have Ox standing up there. Just walk away.
Yeah,
just walk away. I'm gonna reenact the shit out of that. We're gonna reenact the shit out of that on the first night, dude.
Yeah. We need to like do like a script read of some shit from Mad Max 2 or something. Like, so all right, I wanna get into a bit of a discussion here then, because obviously you guys are, big nu metal dudes. So a question that we have been trying to cover off recently, we decided we're going to spend sort of the rest of the year diving into this, trying to get answers and talking to people. And we thought Metal to the Max would be a great opportunity to do this. Now you guys are probably familiar with the big four of thrash metal being, Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, and Anthrax. So the question that we are trying to answer is, who is the big four of nu metal?
We probably have differing opinions.
Now, you guys can provide you guys can provide individual opinions, or you can provide a consensus. Either way is fine. But we just want to know essentially your big four, your Mount Rushmore of nu metal.
All right, let's do it. So
Korn's a staple. You can't overlook Korn. That's just how it is.
You have to say Limp Bizkit as well, because they were sort of around that time where they come through. They're not necessarily my favourite, but I feel like Limp Bizkit are very important in that genre as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look, I'd like to say Deftones has.
I would say Deftones.
Deftones has to be.
Yeah.
And then after that, I can name a million, but one of my personal would have to be
Reba McIntyre.
what? Yeah. He's a fuckhead like that. He just says random stuff sometimes. System of a Down. I'll drop that one in there.
Ooh.
Look, I'm missing out on a million. I know.
No. We need the Mount Rushmore. You know, like I always come to the conclusion whenever I speak to people about the big three of thrash, three of the same, one's always different.
Well, if I was to say like my influences growing up was actually Korn, System of a Down, Deftones, and it was actually Marilyn Manson was my I fucking love Marilyn Manson. So Limp Bizkit I got into late, but yeah.
It's a tough decision, right? Because like you get those first couple out in the bag, first couple that everyone's like, "Yep, it's got to be this, it's got to be this," and sometimes they'll get the third one straight away, and then it's like, "Shit, how do I put it?" The fourth one's always
I've got
tricky
about
one.
10 ones. Yeah.
Who would your fourth be?
Because I think new metal's got to be. It's got that groove and it's got that heaviness. I don't quite think System of a Down has that. They're more fucking just all over the place doing their own shit.
They are
A bit proggy.
Yeah, but they're always lumped into that same group. But, man. Korn. I mean, someone said the other day on your podcast, Slipknot. I'm not quite sure I agree with that
They've
either.
always been more metal. Yeah.
Well, the problem is, I guess, the way we look at new metal is like an error because there was like no band was the same. I mean, you the big four of thrash, you know, like thrash metal. But unfortunately, new metal, it hits such a like that after grunge, it hits such a fucking wide range.
Yeah, man.
Got it.
Rage Against the Machine, but not their first two records. So maybe just the Battle of Los Angeles. I don't know.
Okay. Rage. All right. Well, I mean, look, they are definitely. I reckon they definitely have to be in there.
Yeah.
Like they realistically. Could you say they should be in there instead of Limp Bizkit? I mean, we'll leave that up to the people that get up to this part of the podcast to decide. But I mean, this is why we're asking the question because if we ask enough people, eventually we're going to get a consistent line, and we're just going to be able to put it out. And you know what? Or we'll give everyone else's opinion that we get, and we'll let all of you all argue about it.
And then I want you on the day of Metal in the Max when we come and see you to tell us that if we were wrong or right.
We've got to sort this out.
Well, I mean, look, I think the plan's going to be like originally it was going to be just through the run up of Metal to the Max, and then we were going to talk to a bunch of the fans out there as well. But I'm thinking maybe we keep this going through until the end of the year, and then at our end of year live stream we maybe announce the results there because I think that's going to be a good way to do it.
And we can milk the content.
And we can milk the content. Yeah, got to keep that retention. Got to get that.
Milk the content. You want to go the greatest album from that each band as well.
Oh my God. Okay, thank you. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the greatest new metal albums then.
You put me on the spot. Well, System of a Down, the popular opinion was always Toxicity, but I was always a big fan of Still This Album.
Yeah.
So that was their B-sides of Toxicity.
I think I think the concept behind Steal This Album is one of the boldest ones I've ever encountered.
Here you go.
Yeah, like they're not finished. Fucking, I don't give a shit. Just take it. You get what you get. Then if you're going to steal it,
I didn't know that at the time. I was just a young teenager. When I heard that was actually the first album I listened to, and that's pretty what it is. But I was like, that's.
I think honestly, I feel like their first album is very underrated. A lot of people just because it's so eclectic and they're really embracing the weirdness. Because I remember seeing some interview with Serge recently, and it's like, the other guys all wanted to be more just metal.
The one with Brian Wilson? Is that podcast?
It might have been. I can't remember who it was with. I just saw a short video online, but he's like, oh, well, I wanted to write a song about pajamas. Because it's just silly, like a metal song about pajamas. He's like, I just like being silly and doing weird stuff, and they wanted to be like more metal, more serious with things, and I'm like,
well, I mean, he did get his wish in the second album. He just wrote about people in bright orange pajamas that were in jail.
Well, that first album is just such a window into like the freedom that metal bands had during that time. They could just go in a million different directions, and there was no constraints. And that was really embraced, and I'm glad to see we're returning to a place like that.
Man, I love that shit. Like,
well, I'm in that opinion too. I've always been a person of I don't give a fuck. With films too, it's like do what you fucking want to do. good music. I'm like, do what you want to do. Because if you, I'm like Rick Rubin, like he says, it's like, well, you do what you want to do, you've got a better chance of being successful. You've got a better chance of people wanting to listen to that, rather than going, oh, I think they want to hear this. What's trending right now? I better play this. Like, fuck that, man. Fuck trends. Do what you want to do. If it doesn't land, it doesn't land. You're still going to.
Well, realistically, that's the job for the management and the labels to find out what's going to hit and what's not.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's. I guess it's your aim, like not your aim. I guess it's your hope as an artist is that you write something that does.
Yeah.
It should never be your aim to fall into that category and try and fit within a niche and try and write something that hits. That's for music writers to do. That's when you fucking pay some motherfucker to do it.
Yeah.
But as far as an artist goes, that's
Yeah. And this is where, like, I love the fact that there's artists out there, like, that are just going, this thing that by any, by most people's logic and reason would never mesh with heavy metal. I'm going to make it mesh with heavy metal.
Yeah, exactly.
You're seeing it in a lot of the female-led acts coming out now. People like Scene Queen, who's mixing that like girly pop, like super pink stuff in, and the trap stuff in with metal. You got Poppy, who's out there doing just literally whatever the fuck she wants to do. You've got Varna, who's doing very like almost like sexual metal, like sexy metal kind of stuff, burlesque metal type element stuff. Pardon?
The peaches of the metal world.
Sort of, yeah. I mean, it's just they're just out there doing stuff. They're just taking big swings, taking risks, creatively doing something that is different and that is traditionally that is against the grain of what metal is supposed to be. And the best thing about metal is that it is, when it started, it was very against the grain. It was like, these are the rules, fuck the rules, we're going to do it anyway. And I can't think of anything more metal than going, all right, well, these are the rules of metal. We're going to take metal and mix it with something that is, considered to be like almost anti-metal in some ways. We're going to mix it with things that should never work with metal. And it's just creating like such unique sounds and this amazing stuff. And I love the fact that there is people out here taking these big swings, doing this shit. It's as someone that's, been a metalhead for as long as I have, seeing the future of the genre being so bright, I love it.
Yeah, so good. It's
I
healthy.
couldn't be happier, and that's one of the reasons that Kyle and I love doing this podcast, is because we can seek out new stuff. We're encouraged to find new bands and new interesting things to listen to, and expand those horizons, because we don't want to be those people that, what they say, they reckon once you get to 35, your music taste kind of locks in and you don't ever really listen to anything new after that. Yeah. I think that's true for the layperson. I don't think it's true for musicians. I think musicians are constantly seeking it out. So,
you've got to dig harder. That's all. Dig a little bit deeper. That's all.
I mean, back to what we were sort of just on before, though, like we're talking iconic metal albums, like new metal albums that sort of were definitive, I guess. I know we briefly kind of touched on Slipknot there. Like, I think that Slipknot's debut album, like when I say debut album, I mean the self-titled one, not Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat. Even though Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat is
a banger.
Fucking brilliant. That Slipknot self-titled album, I think, went a long way in terms of just, again, breaking the rules, right? Like fucking 9 people in the band. Like, what?
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
And a DJ and a keyboardist.
DJ.
And a DJ that really runs in, that really puts in, and if he's not there, it's noticed.
Yeah, and like
Earth, Wind and Fire already did that in the 70s, fellas. There was how many members there?
Yes. Obviously, I think Korn's first 3 or 4 albums, you could argue, are like new metal as it is. New metal as it became, I think, doesn't exist without those first couple of Korn albums.
Yeah, $3 bill.
$3 bill and Significant Other were just like so influential on that.
Goosebumps just thinking about those 2 albums. Significant Other is special.
Even bands like, we talk about like Cold Chamber as well, like what the stuff, that like first couple of Cold Chamber albums just, again, was like no one had heard anything like that before. So
horror ice cream truck music.
What?
What?
And just and this is the beauty of it, right? I think those first couple of albums from almost every band in that new metal era is just they're all in their own way definitive of what it was.
Seven Dust Home.
Oh,
Yeah, even though, I mean, they've kind of, even them falling more into like that borderline between rock and metal, like that was such a strong offering that almost did like a rock version of nu metal in a way. I think it was kind of.
And we can't skim over LD50.
And of course.
I'm going to unpopular. That was I never really got into that album. Everything after that from Mudvayne, I was locked in. But LD50, I was like, just
LD50, I wasn't into it straight away. I had to come back around to it.
Yeah, right.
It's
just folded into me.
Again, well, this is what we talk about, right? Like it's a big swing. It's going. Nothing sounds anything like this.
Oh, no.
Where's our place in the? Where is our place? Like if this is what our sound, how do we make this work? And if it was just any one of those nu metal albums, right? Any one of these albums we've talked about, if they come out in isolation, when like, and if there is no nu metal movement, right? And let's say like thrash or whatever just kind of continued to be the thing. Any one of these albums comes out in isolation, I don't think they work.
Yeah.
I don't think they work. It's the fact that they all came out over the course of a few years span, and there was just this explosion of diversity and variety happening, and people were hungry for something different. That I think that's what just drove it all. And any one of them like I said, in isolation, if everything had just continued with thrash or whatever, I don't think it necessarily they would work, or they wouldn't get where they got to. But the fact that people learned that they could be open about this stuff, and that they could embrace the differences and the changes and something unique. And it just, once the first few albums were coming out of that, I think this was just floodgates opened, and it just allowed people to go, oh shit, we can do this. And then bam, bands like Linkin Park, one of the biggest bands in the world, doesn't, like Hybrid Theory doesn't happen without, $3 Bill Y'all and Significant Other. It doesn't happen without Korn and, Issues and like Follow the Leader, or like, that doesn't happen without
Rob Zombie's influence as well.
White Zombie and Rob Zombie. Just,
my God. And I mean, grunge, you just think like thrash was such a big thing, then grunge came along, and you would have had this displacement of kids that had grown up with both, and they're like, well, no, I like both. And I want to incorporate both. And then this baby nu metal came out. It was just...
I agree with that. Grunge is really important. Grunge is important.
Absolutely. It's yeah. I mean,
I don't think grunge gets enough credit to what it's done for metal post 2000s.
Yeah, sure.
Well, yeah. I mean, that was grunge was almost as much as like thrash was opposed to, glam metal and glam rock. Like thrash kind of stood in opposition to that. Grunge was very much in opposition to almost both of them. Exactly. Grunge, like thrash was in opposition to glam rock and hair metal by being like, you're all about being pretty and girls and cars and whatever, but we're just like, we're filthy and angry, whereas grunge was just like, I'm just tired and I don't fucking care. Yeah. In antithesis to both.
Sloppy, passionate, and like just fucking whatever.
It's like it's like it's exhausting. Everything's just we could talk about this shit all day. It's crazy. Like you look at what fed into what else and how it all fucking.
You've got to come over to the tent, boys.
Oh yeah.
A couple of brews. I might.
Let's just let's just hope no one's let's just hope no one's showing up with like mushrooms or anything, because then shit'll get real weird.
Oh God. Don't
give anyone ideas.
No, the thing, Witch Grinder will finish, and they'll just maybe me talking into a microphone, thinking that I'm talking to someone for the next
I'll come back in the morning, and you'll just still be there, like talking to the power will have like run out on the fucking mic on the laptop and everything, and you'll just still be sat there talking in the microphone.
What I want to is you with the microphone, stark naked, walking on the stage. Whoever's playing at fucking 9:30 at night, just walking on the stage naked.
Yeah.
If you can make that happen,
Yeah.
I'll get it on the road.
Jeez,
Man,
that'd be
don't tempt me.
hilarious.
Might not be naked, but I got a kilt. So
If it's hot enough,
All
Who knows
right.
what'll
So before we take this home, gentlemen, where can people find you guys if they want to keep up with what you're doing? What's the socials? We will have links, but for those who may be on the audio feed, what are the socials?
Yeah, probably Insta and Facebook are the popular ones.
They're where we're most active.
Yeah. We have band camps and stuff like that as well. Band camp. We've got a merch page with was it Print Locker as well as what's the other one called? Fuck. Don't matter. Anyway, Facebook, Instagram, Facebook, probably our main one. So just head there, you'll find upcoming event gigs and whatever, and
Find us on YouTube and Spotify. We've got some videos on YouTube, so
Yep.
check us
Cool.
out there.
And Stuff of the Avenue is pretty unique. Yeah, they just type in Stuff of the Avenue. You guys should be pretty much the first ones to pop up.
what was the idea behind the name? Like we thought, I don't know, I thought I heard the word Evenue in a video or something. I was like, what did you just say? Was that? I don't know what it was, but then the sentence was something, Stuff of the Avenue. We're like, I don't know what that means, but that sounds different. So I sort of reconfigured it a little bit. Like maybe that might be a good band name idea. But the idea behind it was if you Google it, nothing else comes up except your band. So
Got to have that SEO. Got to have that SEO. Like band, I was doing a grunge thing when I first moved up to Queensland, and we had originally the singer wanted us to go. They wanted the band to be called Anima, and I'm like, because he was like, oh, it's Latin for like life force and energy and whatever, and I'm like, that's cool, but there's 50 fucking bands called Anima.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah.
Like you're finding a unique name is just such a challenging task these days, and I think that, and while it might be, you're like, oh, we don't care about like people, we don't care about if you can find it on a search engine or whatever. It's like, okay, that's great, but like, if you're out here in a band called, I don't know, just as a fucking example off the top of my head, Live.
Yeah.
It's going to be real hard to find your shit.
And everything's good enough. You don't need another step towards other people finding you.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly. So, all right. So, yeah, Stuff of the Avenue on all the places.
Sorry, merch at the show. Is that a Stuff of the Avenue? Is that one of your guys' shirts that Nick's wearing?
Yeah, but I don't know if we're doing them anymore, are we?
We can. There's like a stonewash idea we had with our previous merch company. Print bar. We're with the print bar now. So.
And the back too. It's got the back as well.
Mad.
Front back. Be front back.
The idea of this one was to make it look like an old basketball card from the 90s.
Yes.
But, that's where you got the upper deck.
Yep.
They're down there. But anyway, so print bar we can get our merch from. But Facebook, Insta, and YouTube. Go check out our music videos because they're fucking ridiculous. But we think they're pretty good. So go and have a look.
Awesome.
Yeah,
well, we'll have links to all the socials in the description there. But that's what we're going to be signing off the podcast for now. Tune in this weekend for Quick Question Quarter and Get in the Bin because we'll have a bit extra with these guys. But that's all from us for now. Thank you very much to Nick and Jay for joining us for the podcast today. Thank you to my co-host Kyle. Thank you for watching and or listening. I have been Reverend Raff. We are the two dudes who talk music. That's Stuff of the Avenue, and we will catch you guys on the next one. Take care of yourselves and peace out.